A topic of today's talk is ethics and values in education. So please welcome Jaya Kishori ji.
Thank
Looking
you
forward
so
to your
much.
introduction.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm very much pleased to be with Mind Mingle with all of you. And to be very honest, I feel really honored to share the virtual stage with such great women leaders. And I've been hearing all the speeches from yesterday and today. And it's amazing, it's motivating, inspiring to see such great leaders talk about education and ethics, values, everything to promote the society. And my journey, as you said, my journey started when I was six. And it was not planned because you cannot plan it when you're six. You cannot think that I'll become this or that. It was all destined. And I just started my work with spirituality or religious works, and that made me more interested in spiritual stories, the morals those spiritual stories taught me. And I've been grown up by listening to Lord Krishna stories and Rama stories instead of Cinderella stories or Red Riding Hood stories. And so my topic is actually what I always do in my speeches, that is trying to make people understand ethics and the importance of ethics and values in everybody's life. And I think I'll start my talk with a small story. There was this young accountant, because today everybody is running in this race of becoming a CA or engineer or doctor or MBA. So this young accountant, he got a job offer with a huge amount of money. The money was really good, but there was some points in the job that wasn't quite illegal, but was questionable. And he was confused whether I should take it or not take it. So he asked for a day. Then give me a day. I will just have a talk with my mother, my family, and let you know. So he went home. He asked his mother. He told everything about the points in the job offer and the huge money that job involved. The mother was totally, like, in today's language, if you are in text literate, you are known as illiterate. Because in ancient times, it wasn't like if you're not text literate, you were skill literate. We called it educational only. If you knew some kind of skills, or you were an artist or something like that, you were literate. But today, if you're not educated in the form of degrees or CA or engineer, you are illiterate. The mother was totally illiterate, and mother told that I did not understand anything what you just said, but I would like to just add one thing, because the decision is yours, that every morning when I come to wake you up in your room, I find you fast asleep. And I have a very hard time waking you up. Like, you're sleeping so peacefully. I would hate to come one day in your room and see you awake. The decision is yours whether you want this job or you don't want this job. But I would want you every day just fast asleep, and I would want that I have a very hard time waking you up because you're sleeping peacefully, because you're doing everything right. So that's what is important in your life, because I have seen people who are highly educated, who are very rich, but they are depressed. And I think that's not the goal of the life or the goal of any education. But ethics and values is something, or living an ethical life is something, isn't cool anymore. When I see the youngsters writing such captions in their stories or WhatsApp stories or Instagram stories, like being bad is the new cool. You shouldn't give a damn about people. Do what you want, do what makes you feel good. And I think we are entering in that phase where you can be bad, you can be rude, you can live an unethical life, and that's good if you're happy. You don't care about the society, you don't care about the nation. And this started, I would say, long back, when in 1835, when the English education system was imposed in India, because we had our own education system. And that education system taught you a hell lot of things that made you more stronger. They taught you how to tackle your mind. because we have seen people, students nowadays, if they don't get uh, like, we have C exams or MB exams, if you don't pass those exams, there are students who get depressed. There are students who attempt these kind of steps. I won't be able to say those names too, that they just end their lives. That is because you can't tackle your mind, or you don't know how to handle your situations, because our education system doesn't teach you that. The teachers in today's education system is just concentrated or focused on marks. This is my experience. When I used to work in my schools or colleges, there were teachers who were very encouraging. They loved my work, but there were some teachers who always told me that these pravachans or these sessions or these works won't help you in your life. You'll do nothing in your life if you just concentrate on these pravachans or speeches and work. And I don't think that's happening right now. uh, I am trying to bring some change in the society, and I am actually watching those changes when I'm speaking to people. So that's what I want the teachers to understand, that the main idea of all education should be in this man making, instead of just scoring marks or bringing trophies in the school. Because that's what today's teachers or schools or education system is just wanting the students to do. No matter if the student is a spoiled brat, or a bully, or is having family issues, or some psychological issues, but the school is not concentrating on the character of the student. They are just concentrating on the marks. If you're a good student, if you're a topper, if you score good, you're a good student. That's it. Nothing else matters. But that is something, just polishing up the outside. And what's the use of polishing up the outside when there's no inside? So you have to understand, as parents too, not even education, because your real education starts from your home. Your parents, they teach you. And I've seen parents just talking about marks. The child comes home, and the parents are like, how much did you score? Who's the topper? How much did that topper score? Why didn't you score that much? And I'm always asking the parents, especially, like, till now, in this life, till now, did you ask your child that, is he doing some good work? Is he helping somebody? Is he or she trying to make somebody smile? No, we are not interested in that. Everybody saying, and the main thing is, whenever we are talking about education, we are always connecting it with money. Like, if you don't study well, you won't earn well. But I don't think education was all about money. Education was about learning, about gaining knowledge, about grooming your behavior. So I think, but today everybody is like, if you don't study, you won't earn well. So every student is running in that rat race of becoming number one. And in any way, like, you can be dishonest, you can just take whatever which is not yours. You just want everything because you want to be on the top, and because that's what people are teaching you. Like, if you study well, you're going to be at the top, you'll become this, you'll get this much money. But nobody is trying to make people understand that, we have this shlok. I always say the shlok in my sessions, that is, vidya dadati vinayam, vinayati patratam, patradi dhanam, dhanadi dharmam, dharmadi jayam. I won't explain the whole thing, it's too long, but the main
Explain
thing
that
is,
in Hindi at least.
yes. I will explain the main thing, that is vidya dadati vinayam. That is, education that teaches you to become humble is real education. If the education is making you arrogant, rude, that's not real education. It's of no use. So vidya, the education which is real, that makes you humble, that makes you kind. So I think that's what we need to teach our students, our children today. And we had this in our ancient times. The Gurukuls, the Pathshalas, I think we had the most number of Pathshalas pathshalas in the world. We had lakhs of gurukuls and pathshalas, and we just not taught them Vedas or Puranas. We used to teach them mathematics, economics, literature, medicine, dance, music, everything. And most importantly, the Indian epics, the Vedas, the Puranas. We had schools in gurukuls, in mosques, in temples, everywhere. And every kid was, taught everything that was related with money and values and ethics and morals as well. And that's why, we have seen our parents, I've seen my parents working so hard. In such situations, I won't think I, or maybe anybody of my age, would be able to handle that situation or handle that amount of money and so many people in the house. But they did that with full courage. I had this conversation with my mother, with some of my aunts who are housewives and working women as well. They work and they handle their home. And I was like, I have this session on women, on working women and housewives. I just want to know, how did you handle it? How did you maintain this balance? And they were like, we never thought of maintaining a balance. It was all natural. We did it with love. Our work was our love, our family was our love. And now we are so confused, like how to maintain a balance, how to do household work. And my father too, we were like 10 to 15 people in the house. He was the only person who was earning. But it wasn't like when he came home after the office, he was all tense and he's not talking to anybody or he's shouting. He was all happy. So I think that's what our ancient education system taught us. With earning money or these kind of education, medicine or mathematics, chemistry, physics, they taught us how to tackle our mind, how to tackle our emotions. That's the most important thing. If you can master your emotion, you can master anything in life. That's for sure. I can guarantee you this. This is self-experience. If you can master your own thoughts, you can master anything in life. So that's what we have to teach our children today, that just learning maths or economics or physics won't help you in your life. If you want to be happy or peaceful, there was this kid, he met a monk and he asked him that, you know everything, you're so knowledgeable, please let me know what field should I choose for my career, because there is so much competition everywhere. There are lakhs of students giving exams, so much competition everywhere. The monk replied, try being a good human. You don't have much competition there because nobody is trying to be a good human. Everybody is trying to be a CEO or engineer or doctor. Nobody wants to be a good human. So you try being a good human, because we have very less competition there. So that's what this Shiksha teaches us, So it's very necessary for today's education system to include some subject, because we don't have any subject that teaches us humanity, ethics, values, love, kindness. Everything is teaching you how to earn money. Just earn good money and have a good life, but money won't help you in having a good life. That's for sure. Your kindness, your love, integrity, empathy, these are some words, some works that's going to make you happy and peaceful in your life, and you'll sleep peacefully every day. And you'll be waking up happily with a big smile on your face. So I think that's important. Education must inculcate strong morals and ethical values. That's all I think from my side. And if any questions, we can ask.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we are open for the question answer session. So in case you have any question you would like to interact with Jaya Didi, please click on the raise hand button and we'll unmute you. Anu Shahaji. Yes, Anuji, you can ask your question.
Thanks, Jayaji, for such a wonderful session. I completely believe and resonate with your thoughts. I just have one point wherein you said that, for this generation, being bad is the new cool, and they want to do whatever they want to do, want to go against the society and everything. But don't you think that it has all been driven by the society, the kind of stress, the kind of expectation, the kind of materialism that youngsters today they have to fight for what they really believe in. They have to fight for their passions. And when they do that, we start labeling them as rebels, or, so because we need to really empower the coming generation to stand up for what they believe is right, rather than the first half of the life is spent fulfilling the parents' dreams, taking degrees and everything. And then the second half is spent struggling and trying to find the right reason of your existence, or figuring it out yourself. And I think that is all has led to this entire circle of rebellion, or, because if I'm not happy, how can I make the society happy, or my family happy, or, at least make my child happy? So how do you
Yes.
think all that is connected? Thank you.
See, first thing is the very nice question, and these are two different things. The topic I wanted to speak about was when, see, the society work. I always told that parents are included. Parents are first teachers. The first education we get is from our parents. So parents are included in this vicious cycle, I would say. Everybody is included. Everybody is doing the same work. But the kind of being bad is the new cool I'm talking about is when kids, see, you're having some problem. That's what I said for our parents. They had bad times, but that does not mean that they will put that bad times on others. Or they will start by saying that society is doing bad to us, I'll do the same. Then what's the difference? Because today we say that younger generation is much more intelligent. The brain works more faster. The young kids, we'll say, they're using the phones. Like we didn't know how to use anything at that time. We were playing with toys and movie properly. But the young kids today, they use computers or mobile phones or laptops such amazingly. So they are much more intelligent today. So that's what I'm saying, that being bad is the new cool is something they don't want people to understand, or make people, they don't understand the kind of things we are doing sometimes is affecting the society. And what is society? Society is what we are doing in the family in micro level, that's happening in the society in macro level. That's all. It's about students, children or parents as well. When the parents are pressurizing, the relatives are pressurizing.
Yes.
When the parents won't do that, relatives won't do that. I have my family members, when, now everybody's in my family saying, when will you get married? When will you get married? Everything is settled. No, now get married. Usi time pe, if my parents are also saying, yeah, we are also saying her, she's not listening, then they'll get that power of doing that. But my parents are saying it's her choice, whether she wants to get married, whether she doesn't want to get married, whether she wants to get married at 30s or 40s, it's her choice. So that's what I'm saying. It's a cycle, whatever we are doing. But now we are entering a phase where being bad is you're okay with being bad. That's not okay. Something is happening in the society, it's wrong, we'll stand for it. But we won't say that we are doing bad things. Why are you saying you're doing bad things? You're actually giving others the power of saying that you're doing bad things. That's why I'm saying being bad is the new cool. I'm not doing anything bad. I'm standing for the right.
Yeah.
If I'm standing for my right, that's not bad. That's good.
Yeah.
It's like saying Krishna did bad things. No, he didn't do bad things.
Yeah.
He was actually telling Arjuna to kill his relatives. But it was a right thing to do. So that's not bad. So why are we saying that we are being bad? We're not being bad. We are doing correct things. And that's what the society needs to learn. So these are two different aspects. There are kids who are okay with being rude or arrogant, or so that's what I meant.
So maybe that's a parent's issue, and along with children, we should also start working with the parents. And
it's a cycle. It's a cycle. It's about everybody: teachers, students, society, kids, everybody. And that's why I said that it all started when the Britishers imposed 1835 English Education Act. They banned. I have seen students, from my friends, they don't know how to speak Hindi or their own regional language, and they're okay with it. They're totally okay. They're like, I don't know how to speak in Hindi. Mm-hmm. And if somebody doesn't know how to speak in English, they'll put them down. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. That's your own thing. Firstly, you should know how to speak in Hindi or your regional language. English is important when you're going out, when you're trying to, communicate with people who doesn't know how to speak in English. But you're okay with not understanding Hindi or regional language or your own culture, and you're putting people down who who are doing the things that in their culture. I think that's what is values or ethics or culture important.
Get it. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
We have any, okay, now another question is from Sumit ji.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you,
Sumit ji,
Sakil.
please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Sakil. Jaya ji, it was very nice talk. I just wanted to say, at one point of time, our country was called Soni Ki Chidiya, and us समय भी, we were kind of, very open for materialism and, having peace of life and having, happiness and all those things were there. Now,
Yes.
if you see, we are running after materialism, and at one end, there are some people who don't have access to those things. So do you think this is the time, in the post-corona world, to have that kind of education which can bring the Soni Ki Chidiya kind of time back to India?
Yes, so I think this is an amazing question, and that's what I told in my speech. Soni ki Chidiya ke saath saath India was called Vishwa Guru, teacher of the world, because we had most gurukuls and pathshalas in a country. The education system was amazing. When you'll actually listen or read about the English education system, about Lord Macaulay, the kind of, the taxes they imposed on temples or the educational schools, that was all because they wanted to remove it, because we had such strong and powerful education system in our ancient times. That's why we were called Soni Ki Chidiya or Vishwa Guru or something. So that's important to bring back that education system. And I'm not saying to remove this education system. It's okay to learn about medicine or physics or chemistry, but it's important to learn about your own epics, about your own ancient stories or ancient scriptures, because that's what makes you more stronger. And we have seen people abroad or in foreign countries, they are reading this book, they are reading Gita Ji, they are reading Bhagavatam, and when they are doing that, and we are just imitating the West. And as I always say, a nation gets weakened when the ignorance of the people towards their roots increases. When you're ashamed of your own culture and you're just imitating the West, you're not developing, you're actually, going in the path of self-destruction. And that's what's happening. We can see that the kind of environment we had back then, it's not the same. Even Gandhi ji, in one of his speeches at that time, he was with all Britishers, and he actually spoke there that the beautiful tree of education was ruined by the Britishers. We were more literate at that time. So I think that's important to bring back those things. And education is going to bring, it will take time, but as parents, as households, it's important that we teach our kids the stories of Lord Rama, Lord Krishna, the stories of Gita Ji, or the stories of all the ancient scriptures of all religion. It's important because they teach you humanity. They teach you love and kindness. Because today I have seen youngsters talking about they want to be like Ravan because he was much better. Because both were powerful, so I would want to be like Ravan. But there is a difference, because power of Ravan creates fear and power of Ram creates faith. Both are powerful, but you have to understand the difference between good power and bad power. And that is taught in your home by your parents, because education system, it will take time to change, but I would definitely want that change to happen for the coming generation if we really want India developed.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Such a beautiful thought, like the power of Ravan creates actually fear. Yeah, do we have any other question?
जया दीदी, मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है कि आजकल जो बच्चे हैं वो जो हमारे ट्रेडिशनल और जो बुक्स हैं उसमें बिल्कुल इंटरेस्ट नहीं रहते. अगर हम रामा की स्टोरी, कृष्णा की कहें, तो उन्हें वो कल्चर कैसे सिखाया जा सकता है? बच्चों के साथ किस तरह से हम ये चीज़ इंट्रोड्यूस करना चाहिए कि वो अपने कल्चर से जुड़े रहें? और दूसरा, आजकल जो हम बोलते हैं कि बॉयज़, जो हमने जेंडर को अलग अलग कर दिया है कि बॉयज़ को बिल्कुल मैनर्स नहीं है, बिल्कुल कल्चर नहीं है, तो वो किस तरह से सिखाया जा सकता है वाली चीजें?
आई थिंक देखिए, ये बचपन से होता है. क्योंकि आपने हिंदी में मुझसे क्वेश्चन पूछा है, तो मैं हिंदी में एक बात आपको कहती हूँ, मैं अपने स्पीचेस में बहुत यूज करती हूँ कि अगर आप बच्चे को उपहार नहीं देंगे, उपहार मीन्स व्हेन ही इज वांटिंग समथिंग दैट्स नॉट गुड फॉर दैट चाइल्ड, उसको ऐसी कुछ चीज चाहिए जो उसके लिए अच्छी नहीं है, पर हम इसलिए दे देते हैं ये बोल के कि अरे वो तो रोने लग जाएगा, जिद कर रहा है, बच्चा है। तो इट्स लाइक आप अगर बच्चे को उपहार नहीं देते तो वो कुछ देर रोएगा, पर अगर आप उसको संस्कार नहीं देते तो वो जिंदगी भर रोएगा। और संस्कार बचपन में ही दिए जाते हैं, जब वो बच्चा है, वो जब पूरी तरीके से आप पे डिपेंडेंट है, उसके लिए आप ही सब कुछ है, आप जो करते हैं उसके लिए वही सच है। आप सोचेंगे वो समझदार हो जाए, बड़ा हो जाए, फिर समझाएंगे, फिर वो आपको ही समझदार नहीं समझता, वो कहेगा आपको कुछ नहीं पता, आप इस समय के नहीं, आपका समय अलग था, हमारा समय अलग था। इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू टीच देम व्हेन दे आर किड्स। जैसा मैंने कहा, आई हैव ऑलवेज ग्रोन अप listening to Lord Krishna stories, the bedtime stories, Lord Rama stories. I haven't read Cinderella stories or Red Riding Hood stories. So it's important कि आप घर में जब बच्चों को छोटे हैं वो कुछ सिखा रहे हैं तो आप इन स्टोरीज से शुरू करिए। I have seen people talking about Lord Rama with such confidence. He did that, he did this. And there is just one question with them. Have you read Ramcharitmanas? Have you read Ramayana? And they're like, no. And then, where did you read this? Like Instagram, Facebook, Google. It's like, what are you doing? Can you say this in your school, in your class? When you talk anything about economics or math, and then you'll tell your teacher, I read this in Instagram. The teacher's gonna throw you out of the class. You have your book, read there, then you have any confusion, you come to me, no? You haven't read anything and you're not even asking questions, you're blaming. They did that, they're like this, I don't want to be Rama, I want to be Ravan, because what he did for his sister was nice, right? That's wrong. His sister was actually, pressurizing someone who's already married, trying to kill his wife. That's wrong. And you're telling what Ravana did was right. I don't think that's right. That's actually what we are doing with our kids today. Even if they are doing wrong, we are like, हमारा बच्चा जो कर रहा है सही है। तो ये तो सही संस्कार आप ही घर में नहीं दे रहे हैं। So it's important you start it with your household things. If you're shouting at your parents, they'll shout at you. They are watching what you are doing. So start it with small stories, small bedtime stories from your ancient scriptures, and make them understand the kind of values or morals they teach you. And about boys, I think same thing happens, the household things. अब बच्चा गलत करता है and you are like वो तो लड़का है। मैं कभी भी बच्चों की गलती मानती ही नहीं हूँ। आप उनको जो बोल रहे हैं वो ही सुन रहे हैं। अब वो बड़े होने के बाद लड़का कुछ गलत करेगा तो वो आपने पहले ही उसकी बुद्धि में डाल दिया था कि तुम कुछ भी कर सकते हो, वो तो लड़का है, वो तो लड़का है। I have seen 1,000 times in my kathas, there are people who don't bring their kids, especially the boys, in spiritual speeches, and they'll be like, और वो बच्चा कुछ भी नहीं बोलता, कुछ भी नहीं, पेरेंट्स बोलेंगे वो तो बोर हो जाएगा। जिसने आज तक कथा सुनी नहीं है उसके दिमाग में आपने बचपन से डाल दिया कथा मतलब तुम बोर हो जाओगे। अब वो जिंदगी भर दूरी भागेगा उससे, क्योंकि उसको लगेगा वो बोर हो जाएगा। So it's all in the family. You have to teach your kids when they are very young, when they are dependent on you, when they are like, my parents are my idols. वो जो बोलेंगे वो मेरे लिए सच होगा। तब नहीं जब आपको कुछ मानते नहीं है, वो सिर्फ पेरेंट्स मानेंगे, उसके बाद दे लाइक उनको समझ इतनी नहीं है। So I think young age is something when you should teach your kids about ethics and values or spiritual stories.
Thank you so much.
Totally
Thank
agree.
you so
Totally
much.
agree. That actually happens बचपन में, मतलब बहुत सारी choices खुद पेरेंट्स ले लेते हैं कि नहीं ऐसा बच्चा खुद
जी।
समझेगा। And then
True.
boys वाला क्वेश्चन नवीन ने पूछा, that's very important actual में, because बहुत सारी privileges हम उन्हें देते रहते हैं और उन्हें लगता है कि they actually own those privileges without even
Exactly.
earning them, क्योंकि पहले से ही मिल रहे हैं ना हमेशा से। अभी किसी स्पीकर से हमारी बात चल रही थी and they were sharing something कि मैं जिस भी फैमिली में जाता हूँ तो वो बच्चा जब खाना खा करके प्लेट भी रखने नहीं जाता किचन तक, ज्यादातर फैमिलीज में। अगर वो लड़का है तो जो बहन होगी वो रखेगी सबकी प्लेट्स, लेकिन लड़के खाना खा के वहीं छोड़ देते हैं और फिर प्लेट्स बहन रखती है या फिर मम्मी रख देती है उठा के। So वो entitled feel करते हैं फिर कि ये मेरा right है, मैं लड़का हूँ तो. So that's really
True.
wrong, and that comes, of course, with families environment.
With family.
Manita ji,
Yes.
yeah, we'll take one last question from Manita ji, and then we'll move to our next speaker. Yes, ma'am, please go ahead.
नमस्ते जयति, मैं सिर्फ ये जानना चाहूँगी आपसे कि हमने स्पिरिचुअलिटी की, आपने स्पिरिचुअलिटी की बात करी, और जो मुझे लगता है कि हमें रिवाइव करने की बहुत ज़रूरत है और बहुत अच्छा लगा. बट मैं ये देख रही हूँ कि स्पिरिचुअल प्रैक्टिसेस को हम रिलीजन से क्यों मिला रहे हैं?
Okay.
अगर
See,
अगर हम स्कूलों में स्पिरिचुअलिटी या फिलॉसफी की बातें करते हैं, फिलॉसफी फिर भी न्यूट्रल ग्राउंड से आता है, फिलोसोफर्स और थिंकर्स. जैसे हम स्पिरिचुअलिटी की बातें करते हैं कहानियां से शुरू होके, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं रिलीजन बेस पे आके अटक जाता है. नॉट ये मैं अपने लिए नहीं बोल रही, बट जनरली पीपल विल से, या द स्कूल विल से, लेट्स नॉट लेट्स नॉट टच दैट पर्टिकुलर थिंग, क्योंकि इट विल लीड टू कॉम्प्लिकेशंस. ये क्यों? क्योंकि मेरे लिए स्पिरिचुअल प्रैक्टिस बहुत अलग है, और रिलीजन, मुझे लगता है रिलीजन इज मोर ह्यूमन क्रिएशन ऑफ ह्यूमंस बेसिकली. थैंक यू.
see, there are books. First of all, I think every religion teaches you spirituality in a more I think in a more detailed way, because there they are speaking about their gods too, but they're actually teaching you spirituality. For example, in Bhagavatam, when we read it, the Mangalacharan happens when he's starting to write Vedavyasi, and he writes Satyam Param Dhimahi. He never wrote Krishnam Param Dhimahi or Ram Param Dhimahi or Brahma Param Dhimahi. It was Satyam, yani truth is the most important thing. So that's what it teaches you. So it's okay if we are not actually putting the scriptures of Lord Rama or Lord Krishna particularly, but there are scriptures, for example, Gita. In foreign schools, there are many schools in countries have included Gita Ji, because Gita Ji doesn't teach you about gods. It's actually teaching you about life. If you have any question in life, it gives you an answer. So before education system changes, I would want every household. So it's not necessary that if you're not a Hindu, it's necessary you have to learn Gita. No, every religious book teaches you spirituality. You can have your own religious books, and that teaches you spirituality. You open any book, any line that teaches you spirituality. It teaches about kindness and love. And I always say this when people say karma is okay, but why do you need to put dharma in between? But कर्म is सच बोलना या झूठ बोलना, दोनों ही कर्म है, right? But क्या करना है ये आपको धर्म सिखाएगा. सच बोलना है ये सीख तो आपको धर्म ही देगा. Or see, we haven't developed this much that we have different spiritual books which is not religious. You can have different authors, they have written it in their own way, but it's not authorized, because when you have ancient spiritual scriptures, it's authorized, like in science or in maths, you have these NCRTs, or we have these different writers. It's authorized. Whenever it's superstition is not only in religious things. When we say like Veda Vyas told this or Lord Krishna told this, we are just with blind faith we accept it. Same goes for science. If I'm saying you Einstein told this, you won't go and check whether Einstein told it. You're like, oh, Einstein, then. We have this superstition in science too. We have this. So it's all about nowadays we don't have that different authors which are authorized with spirituality. But I think your dharma teaches you spirituality. So you can start it with your home. It's not necessary that you have to read Gita Ji only or Bhagavatam only. You can read any ancient religious scripture of any religion, and that's going to teach you spirituality. And that's what's important in life. Kindness, love, honesty, purity, truthfulness, that's all needed, because earning money, that society is teaching you. You don't need a particular university or particular book for that. Everybody's teaching you that only. Earn money, earn money, earn money. It just, you know, this is a rat race. You're just running, and you're gonna get nothing when you will be on your dying bed.
So do you think spirituality
think-
can be a part of the school curriculum? And you've been talking about the ancient system, and I personally believe in the ancient education system, and with Lord Macaulay and whatever you said, I mean, all those systems changed. Maybe it was the need of that hour, but we haven't really been able to shrug off that DNA. But do you think including spirituality sans any biases will do us good? I mean,
See, I can say one thing. We had this for just 1 or 2 classes, I think, moral science subject
Yeah.
is moral science.
yeah.
And we had stories, different we had stories about crows and fox and lions, and we can put our stories there. Different stories. It's not necessary. You can have one story of Lord Rama, one of Krishna, one of Guru Nanak Ji, or one of Allah, and you can have different stories about everyone. So you are learning everything in one subject, and it's not particularly of one religion, but you're getting the morals. So see, it's about thinking. You have to think about it. We cannot do just like education system mein dalna hai, so we'll put any book. No, you have to think about everyone, because it's India. You know, we have unity and diversity. We have a lot of people, a lot of religions, and we have to respect everybody, and that's necessary. That's the beauty of this country. So we can have a subject like moral science, but just not for 1 or 2 classes. You should have it for a long period or long time, and there you can have different stories of all religions. And in that way, the kid would learn to respect every religion. Because it may happen that in your own household, you're teaching about only your religion. But in school, you're actually learning about every religion. And you're actually learning that every religion teaches you love. So you won't, and in that case, you won't, what should I say? There are people in every religion who try to, you know, be the head of that religion and sometimes teach you some bad things. And you just don't have the knowledge of other religions, and you think that whole religion is bad. So I think it's going to clear that thought too. So we should have a subject that teaches about every religion, small stories with morals. So instead of having these Cinderella, fox, crows, and these kind of stories, we can have stories of our own ancient scriptures from all religions. So that's going to create more love and harmony in the country. I think that's what I think.
Let's hope so. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's a great idea, exactly. Thank you so much, Jayaji. Thank you. Wonderful listening to you.